At the perfect time, God sent His Son Jesus into the world to save all of us from our sin and reunite us with...
Wait a minute, how did we get here?
Did you forget where we were in our history series?
Yes.
That's okay. Well, remember in the beginning there was no light, and then God created the whole world. He created man and woman. God loved them very much, but they decided not to love God back. What they did was called sin. Because of their sin, God made a plan, a rescue mission to get them back.
How did He do that?
It was going to take a long time and lots of people. Here are some of the people God used along the way. First, God called a man named Abraham to represent God to the whole world. Abraham's children would become a great nation called Israel. Many of Abraham's descendants would point people back to God. One in particular would be very special.
Are we to Jesus yet?
Not yet, but we're getting there. Years later, when the Israelites were in trouble in Egypt, God called the man Moses to bring them to a new land. In the new land, God used men and women called judges and kings to lead the nation and to follow God. Abby, you may remember one of the famous kings named David.
Oh yeah, he was a shepherd boy who killed the giant and became king of Israel.
That's right. Unfortunately, no matter how many times God's people were blessed, they chose to sin and not point the world back to God. Because of their sin, God's once happy kingdom fell apart.
What a mess.
Yes, just like these pieces, the Israelites were scattered to different nations.
But without email or cell phones, how did God talk to them?
God began sending lots of people, including the prophets, to take care of the scattered Israelite people. You know, people like Jonah, he was swallowed by a big fish. Esther, the young Hebrew girl who became queen of Persia. Daniel and the lions. Nehemiah, who rebuilt the walls of Jerusalem. And Hosea, who was told to marry a woman called Gomer.
Damn!
Not that Gomer. These men and women were reminded the people of God's love.
What does this have to do with Jesus?
The prophets foretold that God would send a baby to save the world, but it would take many, many years.
Are we to Jesus yet?
Yep, and that is where we begin today.